Okay. My name is Dawn Abear, and I want to welcome all candidates seeking the position of Council District D for the City of New Orleans. All candidates were invited to participate in tonight's forum. Welcome everyone to the Voters East of the Industrial Canal Public Candidates Forum for Council District D for the City of New Orleans. A group of concerned voters believe that their voices were not being heard. They also believe that their issues, concerns, and questions were not being addressed within the many PACs hosted by forums and debates in the city. As a result, Voters East of the Industrial Canal was established in 2011. Voters East of the Industrial Canal is an organization by voters and for voters that provides an open forum where candidates can holistically engage voters, our citizens who are the true decision makers on election day. Now I'd like to introduce the board of directors. We have Corinne Villavasso. She is the founder. Corinne?
Hello.
Okay. Myself, I'm the chairwoman and co-founder. We have Marcia McWilliams, who is the vice chairman and co-founder.
Good evening,
Marcia.
candidates. Good evening. Thank you for participating. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
We have Ed Bluen, our parliamentarian, who is also a co-founder.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. Now I would like to introduce our active committee members. We have Wendy Beck. Wendy.
Hello, everybody. Excited to be here. Thank you all for being here, and I look forward to hearing your answers to the community's questions.
We have Shawan Bernard.
Good evening, and thank you all for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Good evening.
Then we have Tina Haynes.
Good evening, candidates. Thank you for joining us tonight.
And Odile Ramsey.
Good evening, everyone. Glad you're here with us this evening.
Hey, I want to welcome you all to our second evening of our 2025 series of Voters East of the Industrial Canal Municipal Candidate Forums. Tonight's questions were solicited and submitted by voters who reside east of the Industrial Canal. At this time, I would like to introduce you to our moderators for the evening forum. So we have Monique Harden. Monique, say hello.
Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.
And we have the Honorable Kiva Landrum.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm going to turn it over to one of our moderators.
Good evening, candidates. And so just to let you know, I know you've heard the rules before, but I want to remind you that this is not a debate. This forum is designed for candidates to speak solely to their own platform, vision, qualifications, and record. Responses should focus on what you plan to do, what you have done, and how you intend to lead, not on your opponent's records, abilities, or actions. So let's get started. We are going to begin this evening's introduction with an introduction of the candidates for City Council District D for the City of New Orleans, and we'll do it in alphabetical order. You each will have 2 minutes for your introduction. Please state your name, your profession, the number of years in your profession, and the position you are seeking. Then give us your strengths, weaknesses, and skill sets and how you believe they qualify you to effectively serve as the City Council member for District D in New Orleans. So we'll begin with candidate Belden Nooney Man-Baptiste.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank y'all for inviting me to this forum. So thank all y'all for that. My name is Belden Nooney Man-Baptiste. Ever since 14 years old, I started out with Mr. Jerome Smith with Tamarine and Fan, working in the community, being a community activist, have been in the community working for 30 plus years with a proven track record of getting things done and with leadership. My strengths are just fighting for the youth, fighting for the kids, fighting for the people, and just keep on pushing. And at the end of the day, I want to be that verse for the verseless because I have heard the people at District D cries. I have heard how they're complaining. And at the end of the day, I just want to do what's right for the district.
Thank you. And so now we'll have hear from candidate Eugene Green.
Hello, my name is Eugene Green, and I am the incumbent council member for District D. It's the district in which I grew up, the Pontchartrain Park community, the Sugar Hill community, and I've raised my 3 children, my college graduates, right there in the Gentilly Terrace community. I've been honored to serve because we have made great accomplishments in certain areas. Certainly, we'll talk about east of the Industrial Canal, but it's important to recognize that the issue of reducing crime in our city can be tied directly to many of the policies of the New Orleans City Council, of which I played a role. We've also done a tremendous job relative to the demolitions that need to take place to make our communities more comfortable, with so many more to do. I feel that one of my strengths is my experience. I've been the head of economic development for the city of New Orleans. I've owned a business for the last 36 years. I've employed people. I've also raised my family, and I think there's what is the right way in our city. If there's any weakness that I have, it's sometimes the enthusiasm for New Orleans puts me in a position where I want to see even more done than sometimes can be done within the limits. I'm pleased to represent this district and to move it forward, to continue the work to reduce crime, to continue the work to clean up our communities, and also to reduce blight, and to do those things that we have passed to make sure that our housing trust fund works to create more housing opportunities, that our healthy homes ordinance is put into effect, and that we continue to do those things which attract those businesses that want to come to our community. I'm pleased and honored to have this opportunity to present to you on this evening, and I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from candidate Leilani Hino.
Hi, I'm Leilani Hino. I was born and raised here in New Orleans. I am a seasoned business owner. I have created hundreds of jobs. I've improved the quality of life for thousands of New Orleanians. Like many of you, what I really want is just to see the basics done right, which would be street maintenance, better quality of life, things like promoting our small businesses. When I was growing up here in the city, I was born and raised in Gentilly, and then I moved to New Orleans East. My house burned down twice. And both times, our neighborhood came together in a way that's still etched in my brain. Our neighbors brought us food. They offered to bring us to school. Anything my parents needed, they were there. My neighbors were there. And that's the New Orleans that I grew up in, that I love. But it feels to me like today that we're burning down again. Our city's burning down again. Our culture bearers are having to go out of the city to go to different places just to get gigs. We're having families being priced out of their homes. The people that are staying here to take care of the city, they're really struggling. So I believe that it's time right now for us to come together in real time and take back our streets and invest in our families, and not just want to stay here and live here, but want to invest in the city for the long haul. What I bring to the table is energy. I bring accountability. I bring real world problem solving to the table. I'm Leilani Hino, and I'm asking humbly for your vote for City Council District D.
Thank you, candidates. I'm going to now turn it over to my co-moderator, Monique Harden. I do want to ask you all, when it's not your turn to speak, if you'll please mute yourself. And so we're now going to get into the questions with my co-moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiva. Good evening, candidates for Council District D.
Good evening.
You will each have 1 minute to answer each of the questions prepared by the organization Voters East of the Industrial Canal. For the first question, we will start with candidate Leilani Hino. Historically, the portion of New Orleans East within Council District D has suffered from underrepresentation. Although it's a smaller section of the district, the council member for Council District D still has a full vote and responsibility to serve all constituents. Many residents feel as though they are represented by only one council member rather than 2. The question: if elected, what specific actions will you take to ensure that New Orleans East residents in District D are fully represented, actively engaged, and no longer overlooked or deprioritized? You have 1 minute.
I agree with you 100%. Like I said, I was born and raised in Gentilly. I went to school at Livingston, and I went to high school at Abramson. I also lived in Village de l'Est for a while, so I know the area pretty well. I was out recently, actually a couple of days ago, at the Melia area, and I honestly, they educated me on how they're being ignored, and that they're part of the first part of New Orleans East. I'm sorry?
Keep going.
Yeah, I heard something. I'm sorry. They were informing me how they don't have a voice and that there's no one there for them. My role in as city council, I would go like I do now. I love people. I would go and make sure that we talk to every neighborhood. In fact, we're so proud of our neighborhoods. We say Treme, New Orleans East, wherever. I want to do a citywide competition, a fun competition where we have where you're from, what neighborhood you're from, and we should all have a voice equally across the table. So I would definitely make sure that everybody's tied in. And the people in the New Orleans East, you guys know me. You guys see me out there. You see me on the pages. I'm out in places a little further east than District D because I know there's a lot of crossover out there. So I think that's highly important that we do speak up and make sure that we go out and meet the people where they are.
Thank you. And same question for you, Councilmember Green.
Sometimes people may feel that they're not being represented, but I'll tell you, I attend every Malia Neighborhood Association and have gotten a grant to them from the Recreation and Culture Fund. Just tomorrow, for example, between Foch Road and Babylon, we're beginning the creation of a water garden that's going to run along Dwyer Boulevard. We've done a significant number of demolitions, such as that old church on Majestic Oaks that stayed there for too long, demolitions on Virgilian, demolitions on Downman Road, demolitions on Boeing, for example, to help enhance the quality of life for those who are around it. We have sent hundreds of notices to code violators, many of them actually respond to the notices and cut their grasses or make the repairs that need to be made to their houses. But we're not forgetting Malia and Pine Village. It's important to recognize that those two communities are included east of the Industrial Canal as far as District D is concerned. We all know that we paved Downman Road, but we've also done other road repairs within the district. There's a lot that's going on in the community. I certainly wish that we could get more private investment, and that's going to take private investors. We have new businesses that have opened up, for example, such as the Heaven and Earthly Realms on Downman Boulevard, and there was an attempt to establish a merchants association. UPS will celebrate. UPS will be celebrating. I don't have a. But I have.
Thank you, Candidate Green. Now over to you, Mr. Candidate Baptiste. Same question, please.
Yes, the perfect question. I was out there Saturday and Sunday. I have walked the district, talked to people, District D, talked to people on Downman Road. It's a lot of stuff I'll do, but the first thing I'll bring economics there. I'll bring small businesses there. I'll bring business from all around the world trying to get businesses in the community to come to D&E, but I will address their needs. Their needs is the infrastructure, the streets, the street lights, and a lot of stuff that's going on that's not being addressed. And at the end of the day, I will fight hard for them, make sure their bill's not high. And also, I'm concerned about our young people. I want to build a youth Congress for our young people because we don't give them a seat at the table. So when I win, everybody will be at the seat, have a seat at the table, but we'll be billing and we'll listen to the people. And I'll be that fearless voice like I have been in the council, like I have been in the community, and I got a proven track record of leadership and getting things done because I understand people are hurting and I understand they want change, and that's what I'll bring. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for the next question. How will you demonstrate that your office is equally committed to all parts of your district, including east of the Industrial Canal? Let's start with you, Candidate Green.
I have attended every meeting to which I've been invited in Eastern New Orleans. I have made resources available, as I mentioned, to the neighborhood association and the like. There is much to be done, but much is getting done in terms of some of the things that the community has asked for. We're going to be working on, for example, an activity that involves the Kip East School, for example, that involves the Malia Neighborhood Association. As I mentioned, the water gardens. We are moving in the right direction and doing some very positive developments in that community. Again, a lot of folks are new to this and say, I just went out to New Orleans East and I just saw it. At the end of the day, I go out all the time on a regular basis, because there are meetings, there are people who want to gather, there are churches at which I have an opportunity to gather. We're moving in the right direction in many respects. And as a council member, I will continue to work on those issues that are important in the district: crime reduction, also continuing some of the street work, getting more lots cut that have to be cut, and also addressing those issues that need to be done, especially on Downland Road.
Thank you. Candidate Baptiste,
All right,
let me know if you need me to repeat the question.
repeat the question.
Sure. How will you demonstrate that your office is equally committed to all parts of your district, including east of the Industrial Canal?
I will, sure, because I will unify all neighborhoods and I will talk to all neighborhoods to make sure that they're on the same page. I will bring all kind of businesses. I will get their ideas. And sometimes you just talk to people. And once you talk to them, they got great ideas, just like they got retention ponds that's supposed to be upkept in Gentilly. And I went to Gentilly and the ponds are not being upkept and they're complaining about that. So I just want to have the people there. But again, I want to have young people there too, because we cannot forget about the young people. We got to bring economics. We got to bring jobs. We got to do all that. So I talk to Delgado, Suno, Xavier, and everything, making sure we get them job skills and training them for jobs so they can be paid and make a career jobs, and bring that to all of the district, all of District D, on Haynes, on Downman, and making sure that the economics come back, because one time that was a striving community. So I unify all neighborhoods together.
Thank you. Candidate Hino, what's your response to the question?
So, oftentimes we brag about the diversity of our city. We say how, we have so many different kind of people and attitudes and things like that. I know for sure that the residents in Lakeview don't want the same things that the residents in Gentilly want. I know for sure that the residents in Gentilly don't want the exact same things that the residents in New Orleans East want. And I think an issue that we have with governance right now is that we govern, or we try to, one thing across the board. So if we're going to brag about diversity, I think we need to govern that way. I think that comes with a conversation and things like housing. Some places want duplexes, some places don't. I think if we do more things like opt-in overlays, let the neighborhood decide what they want and get that conversation, that's the only way you're going to be able to serve all the people. So I want to bring everybody together, but sometimes bringing everybody together doesn't actually net the same result. So that comes with conversation and with listening. So when I listen to the people in New Orleans East, I have to tell you, they just don't, they have, that was fast. Listening.
Okay, I want to bring attention, the focus on New Orleans Lakefront Airport. Downman Road serves as a major gateway to and from the New Orleans Lakefront Airport, yet it has been subject to repeated code enforcement sweeps over the years and continues to suffer from neglect and blight. The question: what are your plans to enhance the Downman Road corridor to improve its appearance, economic vitality, and the perception of visitors entering the city through this route? I'd like to start with you, Candidate Baptiste. 1 minute, please.
Read the question again.
What are your plans to enhance the Downman Road corridor to improve its appearance, economic vitality, and the perception of visitors entering the city through this route?
All right, Downman Road. Downman
Yes.
Road, right by the airport. We know the airport is there. We know the airport is a mega that's bringing all these visitors in. So first, we got to clean Downman Road up, make sure it's straight, and make sure we bring in like an economic boom, because we can use that economic boom, bring small businesses, bring other groups in, and use those tools to make sure that we are addressing Downman Road. Because way back, Downman Road was the road that had all the economics, that had everything. Then I will clean that blight up, because the blight have been neglected for years. years and years and years. And at the end of the day, we need someone that's going to come in and get the job done and do action and hear what the people are saying and talking with the experts, talking with different groups to see the best route to bring Diamond Road back. But what I will not do is hire consultants just to make money. And after they make the money, we are back to square one. It's time for a change, and that's how I'll do it.
Candidate Hino?
The same across the board with blight, I would do in the same area. People are probably getting tired of hearing me when I'm on the campaign trail talking about a dashboard. It's important to me that transparency is highly important to me. So I want the entire city, I want every contract to clean up anything that involves cleaning the city, planting trees, contract development, anything that we do with the streets. I want a dashboard that's available for everyone to see. And then I would like that to have consequences and rewards tied into it. So if that area is not being cleaned, I want the city to see who's responsible for it. What was the timeline to do it? Basically, checks and balances to make sure everything's getting done, not just in that area, all throughout District D. Honestly, all throughout the city, we need that. We need more accountability. We need something where when contracts are put together to have any type of cleanup, any type of road work, anything. I believe that the city council and the mayor should actually create that contract together. That would eliminate a lot of legal fees from suing each other back and forth. But in order to get that done, both parties have to work together.
Candidate Green, please. 1 minute.
A number of initiatives have taken place on Diamond Boulevard, where Diamond Road is now much better than it was some time ago, especially before I began my career as a District D council member. We all know that the street has been paved. Yes, it was in response to the Super Bowl and it involves some outside money, but it's been done. But it's also important to recognize there have been at least 3 blighted structures, which is a very difficult thing to do, removed from Diamond Boulevard. And we have worked and will make money available to a Diamond Road Merchants Association if the merchants choose to come together. The Recreation and Culture Fund is available for that purpose. Yeah, we can plant more trees, and there's a plan to plant trees. In fact, I had a discussion, just a couple of days ago on Friday with a group that's going to be planting more trees in the median. Those things that we can do to enhance it. But the bottom line is that we have got to work to make sure that we continue the work that supports the businesses and to continue to write code enforcement violations and put fines on properties, which is what we do now when they don't do the right thing.
Thank you, candidates. A follow-up question. And we're going to start with candidate Hino. How will you ensure long-term investment and enforcement? 1 minute, please.
I'm sorry, where we are.
We're still talking about the Diamond Road corridor.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
The question is, how will you ensure long-term investment and enforcement?
Okay, so let's talk about enforcement first. Enforcement we know is mostly on the mayor's side, but that's what I'm talking about with the dashboards. That's what I'm adamant about, that we have accountability measures put into all contracts and that we're able to see these in real time. When those measures aren't hit, basically, if there's a cleanup crew, let's put it in layman's term, there's a cleanup crew and it doesn't get done by a certain date, they're going to have some type of consequence. So basically, I want checks and balances into every system that we do in the city. The other part of your question was
long-term investment.
Long-term investment. Well, cleaning up is going to be the first thing. I'd like to have job fairs. I'd like to have invite people to come to the city. I'd like to give grants and tax breaks to local people to run businesses right there. I'd like to give deeper tax breaks to local entrepreneurs so that they could come in. I prefer to have local in that area, local pop-ups. I'd actually, 1 minute is not long enough.
We're going to move on to candidate Green.
Diamond Road, since we're very specific about Diamond Road, is a thoroughfare that certainly has tremendous potential. My job as a council member is to budget the resources that are necessary to enhance that corridor and all streets, and also to be available if zoning changes are necessary for someone who wishes to do a business. On our end, we will continue to support anyone, such as the owner of Heaven and Earthly Realms and the other business owners that have recently opened up on Diamond Road, with the zoning that they need to get things done. The most important thing is to talk about the favorable developments that are taking place on Diamond Road. We'll be highlighting within the next 2 months, for example, the fact that UPS is 50 years at the corner of Diamond and Morrison Road. We've got to highlight the good developments, not focus so much on the negative, and encourage those business owners, as we do, because there is a dashboard. I can tell you, we know exactly who we find and why they haven't paid, or if they haven't paid, or if they have paid. The bottom line is that we're going to continue to do those things that put pressure on businesses to do the things that they're supposed to do.
And candidate Baptiste, sir, 1 minute,
Yes,
please.
yes. Code enforcement. Code enforcement. We know code enforcement is failing throughout the city. We know the permits office is failing throughout the city. So as the councilman, I'll be hard on code enforcement, making sure that they get the job done. And if they're not doing the job, I will take the city charter that gives the council its power and use the power and the provisions that's in there to use the law against the people that's violating and contractors that's not doing the work. Now, when you talk about investments, the first thing I'll do is go up to Baton Rouge. I want to talk to the Baton Rouge delegation. I want to talk to the congressman to make sure that we can get great investments and invest into the business, because if we are investing and bringing partners and bringing people to invest on Diamond Road, once we build it, people gonna want to come. I want District D and District E where people can come see and say, what are they doing in District E? Where they can come from different parts of the city and know we mean business and know that we making great investments.
Thank you. And for the next section, I want to turn it over to co-moderator Kiva Landrum.
Thank you, Monique. All right, so we're going to pivot a little bit, and you still have 1 minute to answer each of these questions. So my question is, with the upcoming Amtrak line connecting New Orleans to Mobile, how do you believe District D can best capitalize on this new transit investment? And I'll start with candidate Green.
That's great news that, in fact, on August the 16th, there's going to be the first running of that line. I'm the chair of the Transportation Committee, and the city has played a role very quietly in making that happen. The bottom line is that we know that many people are going to be coming here from Mobile, from Pascagoula, from other cities in Mississippi. We need to advertise there to tell them the resources that exist in New Orleans East and encourage them to come. Share the information on our restaurants, share the information on our businesses that are out there, and share the information on our beautiful communities. Encouraging them to come means somebody taking a ride along the train, getting off the locations, and sharing information with the tourist offices that'll be at each one of them, telling them that when you come to New Orleans, when you're coming from Pascagoula, when you're coming from Mobile, when you're coming from Gulfport, that you ought to come and visit New Orleans East because of the resources that we have.
Thank you. Candidate Hino, your response.
Marketing is great, but if people get here and they see trash, it does no good. So for me, we need to clean up the areas where the train's going to stop, just like you asking about the Diamond Corridor, wherever the train stops. We have to make sure that the first step that we put our best foot forward. We have to make sure that we have blight cleaned up in those areas. We have to make sure that we do something with the kids so that they're not tagging and spray painting and, you know, and ruining the property when the people get out of get off the train. But again, marketing is great, but only if when they get off that train that we have something to show and something to actually share. We don't want them to get off the train and come to the city and then go back to wherever they are and have something negative to say about it. So having a community incentive would be fantastic before this happens, so that people can see the good that we are doing and people can see what we can do. But if we're gonna have people get off and have blight and trash everywhere, that's not going to be a good look for the city in a whole new direction.
Thank you. And candidate Baptiste, your response.
Yes, I'm excited that the train's coming, you know, and I want to see, you know, like Leilani said the area cleaned up, but just not that. I want to invest in small businesses. I want to give young people a chance to open businesses. And so the people that's coming here to visit, they have a chance. Because we know New Orleans got the best culture in the world. And at the end of the day, we know people want to see that. But we also know that Lincoln Beach is coming. And we want to be able to offer the greatest things to the people that's in, that's coming to the city of New Orleans. And we got to make sure Lincoln Beach is ready. We got to make sure we have businesses. And we got to make it boom like never before. So when they can come here and see it, they can go tell other people. And now now we are doing our tourism, showing our city. We got so much great things to offer, but I want to see young people having a shot. I want to see them opening businesses and making money and showing the people what the young people got to offer, because we got some great young people, but they want to put them for crime, but they ain't about crime. Let's teach them business, how to make money and career jobs.
All right, so thank you. Thank you. So as a follow-up to that, and some of you all have kind of mentioned it, this follow-up question, and again, 1 minute for your response, is would you support or advocate for the Amtrak stop in New Orleans East, such as along Lincoln Beach on Hayne, and the Stars and Stripes Boulevards near the former Bally's Casino site to improve accessibility and bring economic activity to the area? So I'll start with candidate Hino.
If it's what the people of that area want. If it's something that can be done in a way that is not going to bring too much foot traffic to the neighborhood. If it's definitely going to depend on, I can say what I would like. I see it as a positive. I don't live there. So for me, it has to make sense for the residents in that area. If that's something that they want, and we can deliver it in such a way that it's not going to interfere with their daily life or cause too much traffic or, or trash or anything like that, then I think it's a great idea. But it all comes down to what the people, the question that you asked earlier about their voices being heard, that's kind of important to know what they want first before I could say yes, for sure, because it has to be what they want.
Thank you. Candidate Green, your response?
A stop in a community such as New Orleans East could be of tremendous benefit for those who come to our city and the residents of New Orleans East. Pretty soon, New Orleans East is going to have a redone Bally site. Henry Coaxum and Jimmy Woods and Vincent Sylvain are moving forward on that site. Lincoln Beach is going to be developed. And yes, Six Flags, the demolition is underway and there's going to be development. It would make sense to have a stop in New Orleans East, just in general. That Amtrak line in general, when we have those kind of events and we have those kind of resources, I will be a strong advocate for people coming to New Orleans East, whether it be by train or from Union Passenger Terminal, whether it be by bus or shuttles to come out to New Orleans East. I think that there are tremendous resources and opportunities in the future that I want to be part of the council to help us to move forward as a community. Yes, I would advocate for people coming to New Orleans East, whether it be by train, whether it be by bus, whether it be by shuttle, to take advantage of the resources that we have.
Thank you. Candidate Baptiste.
I'm sorry, I didn't do the.
You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Well, my answer is yes. But again, I'll be concerned about the people making sure that this train rolling through the east will be safe. And then I want the people to see Bayou Phoenix when it comes up and everything. But it's about the people. If the people tell me, well, we got concerns, we got to figure out what the health concerns is. We got to talk to people and make sure it's right for them. But if the people want it, yes, I will be the verse for the verseless. But if they tell me some way they don't want it, well, I have to think about it, But I just want the East to boom. And it sounds good, but at the end of the day, you can't not let the people not sit at the table and tell you what they want, So it's yes, but if the people tell me different, I'm not going for it. And I'm concerned about the health concerns. That's the only thing I'm concerned about, and how it would affect the community. And that's it.
Thank you each for your responses. I'd like to at this time make a brief announcement that the live poll is now open and will close after the forum ends. This poll can be accessed if you're viewing live on YouTube, and the link to the poll is in the chat. Viewers can now rate each of the candidates' performances using the link that has just been dropped in the chat. The poll results will be shared at the end of this forum and posted on the Voters East of the Industrial Canal social media platforms. So I want to shift a little bit and ask this next question and just remind you each one minute for your response. And this deals with the proposed pedestrian bridges in the East. What is your position on the pedestrian bridges being proposed in New Orleans East? How will you assess their necessity, funding, and value to the community? And I'll start with candidate Baptiste.
All right, the bridges in these. The one by Lincoln Beach, I think the people are wanted. But these bridges that's coming again, I want to hear from the people and make sure that's what they want. If the people want the bridges, we'll do it, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go against something that the people don't want. So I'll be relying on the people, talking to the residents, talking to the cities. I'm at the citizens, and if they say they want the bridges, well, then I'll advocate, fight for them, and look for funding from our Congressman Troy Carter, and like I say, the New Orleans delegation, and also I'll try to find funding in the council's budget, you know. So that's how I'll be about the bridges, but I wouldn't go against nothing that the people don't want in the New Orleans East. But if they want it, I'm with it. If they don't want it, I'm not with it.
Thank you. Candidate Hino, your response.
I definitely agree about the bridge with Lincoln Beach. Aside from that one, I don't think that we have resources that we should allocate towards the bridges right now. There's too much to do in New Orleans East right now. They've been ignored for so long and so many things are lacking now. I think that money can be better used in other places. I also think that I'm really big on finding out the why. I'd want to know why they want the bridges. I'd want to know if, I don't know if maybe there's like they need more buses, or, you know, what's the reasoning for wanting the bridges. But financially, looking at the budget that BGR just put out, I don't believe that would make economic sense to use that money specifically for bridges in New Orleans East when there's so many things lacking already that the community needs. That should come first.
Thank you. And candidate Green.
The New Orleans City Council members, if you've spoken to them, are on record as opposing the bridges. It's not just that they have a cost associated with it, because really it's a federal cost. But at the end of the day, they involve maintenance, and really, very honestly, the distance between Crowder and Reed, and then Reed and Bullard and Paris, for example, you can really do those in another way, even if it was to use the bus and then to walk under the bridge. Putting pedestrian walkways across major thoroughfares presents security issues, and it also presents maintenance issues. And at the end of the day, I think that things have worked out well. And as I talk to residents and as I talk to members of the city council, we just recognize that sometimes a good idea still has to be implemented. And where it may seem like a great idea to provide an opportunity for people to walk across the bridge between Crowder and Reed, at the end of the day, it's not the best thing for the community in general. There are other ways to get people to the sites that we want to get to from one side.
Thank you. And candidates, I thank you each for your responses, and I'm now going to turn it over to my co-moderator, Monique.
Thank you, Kiva. I want to bring our attention to the proposed grain terminal project. The question is, and we'll start with candidate Hino, do you support or oppose the proposed grain terminal project in the Holy Cross neighborhood? You have 1 minute.
From the conversations that I've had with the citizens so far, I would have to lean to oppose. It seems like it's
May I add, because I messed up on my questions, if I
Oh,
can.
yeah.
So you gave us your yes, no, you said you would oppose. And so just to go a little bit deeper, can you explain your position and describe what specific actions you would take as council person for District D that's within your authority to address or influence this project?
To go forward?
No. If you want to oppose it, what would the actions you would take within your authority as a council district person? What specific actions would you take, and how would you use the authority of your office to give effect to that?
Basically communication. I'd sit down, I believe that's the port, who's I'm sorry, yeah. I would sit down with them and have a real conversation and see if there's any other ways that we could get the same outcome of what they want. I know that, like I said, the community, the people that I've talked to so far, they're not interested in that. They have mixed concerns. I haven't heard one positive. I haven't talked to everybody, but I haven't heard one positive thing from the community. And what I'm hearing is even if it brings jobs, that's just not something they want at that location. But what I would do is basically open communication and find out what other avenues, pretty much with any project, how can we get the same outcome but doing things in a different way? Is there a way that we can mitigate? Can we go around? Can we offer basically negotiation, communication, and find out what other avenues are open. But I do know that I definitely oppose it only because the people do.
Thank you. Candidate Green, over to you. And let me restate the question just so that it's clear, because I did fumble a little bit, and I appreciate Candidate Hino for bearing with me. So it's a two-part question. Part one, do you support or oppose the proposed grain terminal project in the Holy Cross neighborhood? And if yes or no, please explain your position and describe what specific actions you would take as councilperson for District D that's within your authority to address or influence this project.
Within your authority is such an important couple of words. To be honest with you, at the end of the day, one of the concerns that we have here is the concerns that we have throughout our city. The state has ultimate jurisdiction over so many areas, including all of the navigable waterways. The Ports Authority is the state's authority. At the end of the day, the city council is being on record as saying that this would be detrimental to the community. We've asked for an extensive study before anything could happen, and you can see that they've moved forward with construction in some respects. The bottom line is that first, I want to make it clear that it's in District E, and I strongly support the council member from District E and the residents of District E, but it certainly impacts District D. I would say, without fear of being contradicted, that most of the residents of that community do not want the grain elevator, and that I, as a council member, am a part of the resolution that has made it clear to others, the state especially, that we are opposed to that grain elevator as it is conceived, and also want to have much more study before it would move forward.
Thank you. And Candidate Baptiste, what's your response?
I oppose it. I'm scared for the people with the health concerns, how it's gonna go and everything. But at the end of the day, I will try to still advocate with my lawmakers in Baton Rouge to see if it's something we can do against the state. I will, as the councilman, ask them to meet with the community and please hear the community concerns, because I have took part in about 2 meetings and saw the community was outraged, but looked like the port was just ignoring them. So at the end of the day, we got to come up with an action plan to hold them accountable. Also, I'll try to find ways to take them to court, and maybe we might win, maybe we might lose, but we got to we got to hear the people verse. And at the end of the day, the port has been disrespectful to the people, and it's a disgrace and unacceptable. So I will do everything in my power to hold them accountable, and also speak to the Congressman Troy Carter to see if there's any federal laws we can have, like the delegation, see if there's any state laws they violating.
Thank you, Candidate Baptiste. About the port, thinking about it as a facility now. Candidate Green, what is your vision for the Port of New Orleans? Can you speak to any current plans and progress, or share any new initiatives you would champion as remaining as a councilperson for District D to shape the port's future?
Yes, it's important to recognize that the port has quite a footprint in District D. all along France Road, for example, all the way to Poland and the like. And I'd like to see the port look at some sorts of different development. It may be that we're not going to have the industrial development as of the past. Right now, for example, 2 projects are being looked at as entertainment-related projects on France Road, not so far from Sheffield Highway. Those kind of ideas are something that's going to have to take root within the port's thinking and also the city's thinking. We need to do different. I know that we like to see the water, we see the boats on it, but we have so much blighted property that, again, is under the jurisdiction of the state of Louisiana because they have the jurisdiction over the Port of New Orleans. I'd like to see us look at different ways to develop some of those sites so that they're not blighted waiting on industrial projects that may not happen. And we really are moving in the right direction in that respect. We've had a couple of businesses move in along the port, but we have projects that are being looked at that are different than what is traditional. I'm looking forward to those.
Thank you. Candidate Baptiste?
Read the question again.
Sure. What is your vision for the Port of New Orleans? Can you speak to any current plans in progress or share any new initiatives you would champion as councilperson for District D to shape the port's future?
Yes, my vision for the port is that the port have good jobs for our people. So the young kids, I would like to see the colleges start getting land and developing some of that land and making job skills, job training, so some of these youngsters can get career jobs. At the end of the day, we know we got the longshoremen, we got the union people, we got all these people working at the port. But if we start investing in our young kids, again, invest in our young kids and start getting them skills and training and everything, at the end of the day, we wouldn't see them getting into crime because we teaching them, we can teach them electric, plumbing, or things that the port do. So that'll be my vision for the blighted land and use it as, job training facilities and skill training facilities. And even if the community want to get some land and just hold meetings or something or do something there, that's my vision for the port, just to make sure that we bring in career jobs.
Thank you. Candidate Hino?
Whether something is state run or governed or city run or governed, I wouldn't want to stop at saying that just because the state is in charge of something that the city, like we can't do anything. I think when you lean on any governing body, you can influence. You have influence whether or not you control if it's state controlled or not. As it relates to the port, I would like to see them look at diversifying the way we used to do things. The world is changing. I mean, we're not going to be the same. And I think that if we could use some of these properties for pop-ups, if we could use some of these properties for local business pop-ups, that's I've seen it in other states. I've seen it in states where young people or local people can't afford rents. They can't afford to start a business, but what they can afford is they can afford food truck communities where we have, these kind of like the river thing that they're doing right now, except then they actually have food trucks over there. We can use a lot of those blighted areas around them to do that. 1 minute.
All right. Next question. The neighborhoods that are adjacent to the I-10 corridors, primarily in New Orleans East and the city as a whole, face serious environmental and public health challenges, including excessive litter, overflowing trash along the major corridors, cancer rates above the national average, and ongoing impacts of climate change. Yet enforcement and proactive policies have been limited. If elected, will you support policies that make New Orleans a more environmentally sustainable and cleaner city, such as holding businesses accountable for trash around their locations, implementing a bag fee to fund corridor cleanup, and advancing legislation to ban plastic, Mardi Gras throws, and styrofoam in food service, even if the policies face initial resistance? I'll start with you, Candidate Baptiste.
Yes, I will support it.
Candidate Hino.
Most definitely. It sounds like a dream come true, actually, for them to be held accountable.
Candidate Green.
Now, Question included a couple of parts. For example, would I favor a bag fee, for example, and it also talked to certainly I will do those things that are necessary to enforce cleanliness. You can see just last week we started enforcing more about illegal dumping. You know, we have conducted 6 arrests and there are 13 investigations going on right now. As crime goes down in certain areas, we have the ability to do more stakeouts. We have the ability to make the arrests that are necessary. The bottom line is that, yes, I would support those things that it takes to enhance the environment along not only the interstates, but there are waterways in District D where we need to do more enforcement. And again, yes, I would never suggest that we can't do something because the state owns it at the end of the day. As I mentioned, we will work with the state and we have worked with the state. That is another issue that I will address with the state as a council, keeping the environment clean.
Now I want to bring our attention to each of you as candidates and as residents and people of New Orleans, completed accomplishments you've been able to achieve, and really focusing on those accomplishments more than promises. Um, from Viotech, we recognize that voters are seeking leaders who not only plan but also deliver. So the question is, what is one initiative or project that you successfully completed within the last year that directly benefited an underserved community? Please be specific. No quote unquote in progress items, please. We'll start with you, candidate Hino.
You're on mute.
I just realized it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. My entire life has been dedicated to improving the quality of life. I have personally, and with my business, I've scaled from my garage to 7 locations. I've personally gotten over 200 people off of insulin. That's important to me. That has lowered their healthcare cost. That's something that I've been doing throughout my entire life, not just in the last year, like you asked. I have personally helped individuals walk again. That's important to me. That's the citizens of this city. Aside from all of my mentorship that I do and businesses that I help keep their lights on, and that I can't mention their names on here. For me, it's the insulin reduction, it's the health benefits for me, that it also takes down the cost for them. That's the most important thing for me.
Candidate Green.
Blight reduction has been a significant focus of my administration, and we demolished over 200 blighted properties. Within the last year, for example, the Gordon Plaza residents finally got the relocation that had been talked about for decades before. I'm proud to have made sure that the money was available for that and that a fully funded relocation was made available to those residents. As I mentioned, blight reduction, and it's been blight reduction in communities that have been ignored in the past. I'm proud of that. But also in terms of general communications and in certain communities, we built the Desire Florida Community Center. I got $3 million available for the Desire Community Housing Development Corporation that's going to put a pharmacy in the Desire, Florida area. I changed the zoning to allow for a new school, the Good Shepherd School, to come on Desire Boulevard near Higgins Boulevard. So all of those projects I'm proud of. There's a lot of things that I've been able to do as a council member that I'm proud of, and they were focused on areas that had been underserved in the past.
And thank you for that. And candidate Baptiste.
My greatest accomplishment been working for the community, answering their needs, answering their issues, working with the young people, making sure, for instance, when they didn't get paid this summer, making sure that the NARD workers, the youth counselors got paid, fighting, advocating for the people with sewage and water board, energy, standing up on the infrastructure, working with the homeless people, just feeding the community and advocating, blessing people. And when people tell you thank you, and my passion, everybody know, is the young people, just working with them, helping them get in school, helping them do other things. And that's the greatest joy I can have. Fighting for the people, standing for the people, and just standing with the young people. That's the greatest thing I ever did, and that's what I love to do in our culture, fighting for our culture, our rich culture of New Orleans. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates, for all of your responses. I'm going to turn it over to co-moderator Kiva Landrum.
And so thank you, candidates. We are approaching the end of our scheduled time, and so we will hand it back to Dawn.
Right, thank you. Well, this concludes our questions. I want to thank candidates Baptiste, Hino, and Green for coming on to discuss your platform with our organization. I also want to definitely thank Attorney Monique Horton and Honorable Kiva Landrum for being our moderators for tonight. So now I want to introduce Shawan for announcements on the poll results and on key dates for the upcoming forums and the election.
Thank you,
Shawan?
Thank you, Dawn. And thank the participants and the candidates for offering themselves as a service to our community. And also thank the viewers who joined us this evening. So we have some very important information we would like to share as we continue our series. Up on the screen, we'll remind you that election date is October the 11th. That's Saturday. And early voting begins September 27th and it goes up until October 4th. Excluding Sundays, there are at least two ways to vote. Early voting and election day are two ways for voters to vote. And with the next slide, it's a reminder, if you have not read, well, let's go to, if you have not registered, there's an opportunity for registration to happen so that you could participate and vote in the October 11th election. September 10th is the last day for applications to be submitted by paper and online at GoVote. You can also submit applications for voting or registrations up until September 20th, 2025. Now, the third way for voters to cast their vote is through a process called absentee ballots. So October 7th is the last day to request an absentee ballot from the registrar's office or through GoVote. And those applications must be submitted, or those ballots must be returned to the registrar's office by October 10th. We would also like to share with you that if you want to get an absentee ballot, there's a few ways that you can qualify in the state of Louisiana. You can just be a citizen of the age of 65. If you're a voter with disability, if you're a student who will not be, you're attending college away from the parish, outside of the parish for election day, you can request an absentee ballot. If you're in the military, if your spouse is in the military, even if you're temporarily away on election day, you can also vote absentee. You just have to request it in time. If you're in the clergy, if you're incarcerated and you have not been convicted of a felony, you can also vote. If you're on jury duty in a hospital stay, there are any emergency situation, just make sure that you contact the registered voters office, which is located at City Hall, to request your absentee ballot. And that information is provided to you on the screen. And as a reminder, our series continues today. Again, we want to thank those candidates who are vying for District D, and tomorrow, Tuesday, July 22nd, we'll also have those candidates who are vying for District E. We invite you all to come and join us again on YouTube, or you can use the link to join us in the Zoom. So we'll be here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And now for the poll results. Corinne's going to share those on the screen. And the results from tonight's responses will be shared briefly.
Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
There's the graph.
Sorry about that. Okay, I went too fast. Okay, here it is.
Do you want to read that, Corinne, or you want me to?
You can go ahead.
All right, so this graph, it acts or displays about which candidate made the strongest case for the leadership in District D. And as you can see from the responses, what those results were. And we'll also post those, or as a lot of people did yesterday, if you're taking pictures, you can save it and get your instant verification. And I believe there was a second graph. And this is just a board representation. It asks the viewers to rate the candidates on a scale of 0 to 5. And the bars indicate the responses that the viewers scored the candidates for. And then I believe those are 3 questions of the 3 candidates, and it's each of their questions that the viewers rated. And that's a continuation, I believe, of the questions. And the last question was, has the form helped make change or strengthen your voting decision tonight? So those are the results that have been shared by the respondents from the online and also the Zoom chat. And, it's our hope that we are making a difference in helping you, the viewers, to make an informed decision about the upcoming election.
May I ask a question? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Am I correct in that we only have 7 responses?
That
The
is
numbers.
correct. Mhm.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
I will share with you that the number of viewers online is more than what's indicated in the responses, but that's the number of people who chose to participate in responding tonight.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And I don't know if this is the last question or not. It asks, if yes, what did you learn? So, and the viewers indicated what information they learned from listening to the candidates tonight. And candidates, those results are available online. They'll be posted, not immediately, but we will put those results up. And again, we thank you for joining us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you out and about as you continue to spread your platform and share your views with the public.
Thank you.
Thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, team, we can stay back for a debrief, and I'm going to promote those that's in attendees to panelists. I guess we didn't have a lot of attendance like we did last night. Oh, let me stop streaming. Well, wait 1 second, because I want to make sure it's not on a delay.